Hello, hello, and good afternoon, and welcome to another Monday live stream. Another one already. Cannot believe these weeks are flying by. Hope you've all had a fantastic weekend. Today I am going to be sharing 5 top tips that you probably never knew about to help save you time on Facebook. We've all been there. We're using Facebook for our business, and all of a sudden we look at the clock and, oh my goodness, we've lost an hour. Where on earth did that go? So today I'm going to be sharing with you 5 top tips on how to reduce your time on Facebook and use it more effectively for your business. Okay, so before we start, if you are watching on Facebook, please do say hello. Do click the StreamYard link at the top of this video so that I know who's saying hello. Otherwise, do leave your name. And again, if you're watching on YouTube, please do say hello. It'd be great to see you. And again, if you've got any questions as we're going along, please do ask them in the chat. And if you've got any questions to do with social media, do ask them and I'll come to them at the end of this live stream. Okay. So, oh, hi, Amanda. Thank you for saying hello. Nice to see you. Okay, right. So let's get on to it. 5 top tips then for saving time. Now, I was scrolling through these, doing a bit of research on them this weekend. And do you know what? I'd forgotten some of these. So they are quite useful. Now, these tips are to do with the way you set up your personal profile and the way it can then manage your business profile. Okay, so I'm going to start with tip number 1. Right, the first tip that is quite an interesting tip is that it's not necessarily related to saving you time on Facebook, although it is a really useful tip and something you need to be aware of. And that is that, as we all know, Facebook has a huge amount of data on us, an absolutely huge amount of data. And actually, until I started doing a bit of digging yesterday, I didn't actually realize how much data it had. And I thought I knew a lot about Facebook. But on Facebook, you can now request all the data that Facebook has on you. And it's really quite interesting. You can literally put a request in and it downloads all your data, which is something that I did yesterday just to find out what data it had on me. Okay. So basically, if you go into the settings on your Facebook, so go onto your Facebook profile, and along the top, there's a little kind of upside down grayed arrow. Now, if you click that upside down grayed arrow, then it brings down a menu. And if you go into the settings, under that menu, go into settings, and under there you can select your Facebook information. And then you can select download your information. And this is a great way of downloading your information. And what it tells you is all the events you might ever have booked onto through Facebook. It tells you any stories you've interacted with, any comments, any likes, if you've ever bought anything for the marketplace, if you've clicked on anything in the marketplace, what you've posted, what you've updated, what you've entered into Facebook, what the information on Facebook is, where your locations have been grabbed off Facebook when you've been moving around, your search history on Facebook, ads and businesses, and absolutely loads of information. And you just click select to download. Okay, and this takes a while, and I only selected a few categories actually yesterday, and it takes a while. So it took about an hour for the data to be ready. But I then got an email and a notification on Facebook, and it shows you all the data in the zip files. You can just click through them, and it's amazing. It's amazing the data holds on you. So one of the interesting ones was that actually Facebook did not know my blood type. Now, that was a bit of a surprise because I didn't even realize you could put your blood type into Facebook. So fortunately, Facebook does not know my blood type. But it's really interesting to find out what Facebook knows about you. The most interesting thing that is going to help you save time is groups. So you can click on and you can see all the groups that you've ever been registered with. Now, when groups were first set up in Facebook, people could put you in a group whether you liked it or not. And I don't know if a few of you remember this, but it was so frustrating. You used to get put in all these groups. It's just like, I don't want to be in this group. Obviously, now you've got to accept to be in a group. That has changed. So you can see all these groups, and then you can opt. You can then, once you've seen them, you can then opt to leave those groups as you will. But that is a really useful little tip that you can actually find out exactly what data Facebook has on you, and then you can click through it, delete, edit, and or whatever you want to do with that, because it's up to you. If you don't want Facebook to have that data, you can ask them to remove it. The really interesting bit as well is it shows you, I'm just seeing if it's on my piece of paper. Yeah, so the most eye-opener for me was when we went through it, and it actually tells you which external websites have shared your data with Facebook. And the list was phenomenal. So basically, every time you log on to a website, maybe, then you use your Facebook profile to log on. That website is sharing data with Facebook. Okay. If you click onto a website that has a Facebook Pixel installed, and you wouldn't know that unless you use the Pixel tracker, then that website is sharing your data with Facebook. Okay. And the reason they collect this data is to give you targeted advertising. So, you know, when you've been Googling for that shed you looked at 2 weeks ago, and then all of a sudden you get Facebook adverts. That's why. So you can go through this list and you can remove websites that have shared your data with Facebook. So again, it's just good practice to do that, and to, you know, have a look what you've got. Oh, hi Paul. Hi Paul. Paul's made it in today. And he's got his butties. Brilliant. What flavour are they, Paul? Let us know. And oh, Karen, hi Karen. Thanks for saying hello. Karen's here from Pebbles on the Beach of Life. She's got fabulous cards and pictures. Thanks for saying hi, Karen. Again, if anyone else is watching, or if you've got any questions, please do put them in the chat. Okay, so that's my first top tip that you probably didn't know. My second top tip is a little bit simpler. Bit simpler doesn't mean searching through the depths of Facebook to download your data. The next one is just a really good little tip that's quite simple. Okay, so basically it's about helping you to clean up your newsfeed. And again, I'm going to be sharing another tip later in this video about how you clean up your newsfeed. But a really easy one is when you go onto a business page and it says follow. So if you like a business page, so if you were to like my business page, Social Media Executive, yeah, it will have, if you click onto the page, it will have the like button, and then it will have next to it follow, and you'll automatically follow my page. So you will automatically get the opportunity to see some of my content in your newsfeed. However, you won't see all the content in your newsfeed, only a small amount of it. So what you can do is you can go onto my business page, click on the follow, and then you can select see first. Okay, so what that means is that any content that I put in about tips about social media, little videos, sharing advice and things like that, you will always see it in your newsfeed because you want to see it first. Facebook will automatically just put it to default, so you won't see everything, but if you click see first, you'll always see my content. So I would definitely recommend you doing that, obviously. But you can also, and I wouldn't recommend it on my Facebook page, obviously, but you can also click onto someone's Facebook page and you can click onto that follow box again, and you can click on and you can click unfollow. So what that means is that you still like the page, but you've unfollowed it. So you like the page, you want to, you want to be kept in touch with it, but you'll never ever see anything in your newsfeed that page posts. Okay. So that if you've got a business page that you follow, that you like, and it's, you know, giving you loads of content, loads of sales posts, it's really not that valuable, but, you know, maybe you might want to jump in once a year or something, and you want to keep a tab on that business page, then go into it, click follow and click unfollow. Okay, and then that will clean up your newsfeed. Now, a little top tip on this as well. You can also do this to your friends. So for those friends who are prolific posters on Facebook, and maybe you don't want to see their content, but you still want to remain friends, then you can click onto their profile, and then you can click on you do it the same. You just click onto their following. You might have to click on the three dots. You just click onto their profile and select one of the following at the top, and again it'll be default, so you won't see all their posts. So you can click unfollow. So you're still going to be their friend, you're just never going to see the content. Alternatively, if you want to, you know, make sure you're following all the content that your husband, your particular friend, your family posts, go onto there and click see first, and you'll always see their content. So it's a really good way of cleaning up your newsfeed to make sure you actually you get to see what is going to be of value to you. Okay. Oh, hi Phil. Thanks for saying hello. Hello. So yes, that is another way of cleaning up your newsfeed. Massively saves you time. And I suggest as a business owner, you clean up your newsfeed to be following business pages that are of real value to you and that potentially could bring you new clients. So that's a great way of doing it. Okay. So that was top tip number 2. So 3 to go. Right. Now I've got another little tip actually for you that relates to that unfollow, that's next to that unfollow and follow button. And that is you can now view your profile to view it as your potential customers, or your customers see your page. So if you jump onto your Facebook page and you click on to the right, there's 3 little dots, click on there, and then it says view page as visitor. So you can click on that, view page as visitor, and then you can see what your page looks like to a visitor. Because when you're running your business page, you're in admin view. So you've got all these menus everywhere. It looks completely different, not completely different, but quite different to what a potential customer will see. So again, you can click on that and click view a page as visitor. Okay. Now, some of you might say, hang on a minute, we've always been able to do that. Well, Facebook did used to be able to do that a couple of years ago. You could do that, but they removed it. They removed it a couple of years ago, simply because they realized it was a hack, and hackers were getting through. When people were doing that, they were getting in and accessing the Facebook data. So they had to take that functionality off. So now, but now it's just come back on again as well. So dead useful. Okay. Now, a top tip as well, you can do this on your personal profile. So us as business owners, we've got to be careful when we have our business page. Sometimes we want to be completely anonymous. Sometimes, like me, I'm quite happy to have my page linked to my personal profile, but I want to make sure that my personal profile is private to people who aren't my friends. So again, now on your personal profile, you can do that as well. You can click through on your personal profile and you can view as. Just select, there's little 3 dots, click that, bring up the menu and just click view as. And that'll show you what your personal profile looks like to a non-friend, to someone who isn't your friend. Because it's really difficult to find out what your page looks like to people who aren't your friends, because generally if you ask your friend, they're your friends, so they can already see your profile. So this is a really good tool, and I suggest you do it because it is a bit of an eye-opener. Sometimes posts, if you've made them public for one, all the rest of your posts are public, so please do check that. Okay, right. Phil, you missed top tip number 1. You did. You came too late. Well, you can watch this back. Top tip number 1 was about how you can download all your data to see what Facebook stores on you. So that's a good tip, actually, that one. Paul, you want to know how to delete your Facebook profile? I will come on to that at the end. That is a good question. I'll share that one at the end, how to delete your Facebook profile. Okay, right. So top tip number 4. Now, this is a great time saver, and I quite like this one. Top tip number 4 is how to monitor. You can actually monitor how long you spent on Facebook. Okay. So if you can do this on your mobile, the beauty about Facebook now is that you can limit your time on Facebook. It's got settings in there where it can you can switch off any notifications for a while. You can go in there. You can see how long you've been spending on Facebook. You can, manage your time on Facebook. And you can set a daily limit, which is really good. So basically for this, go onto your phone. Go onto your phone, and in the bottom right-hand corner of your phone, there's 3 little lines, yeah? And I think it's the same whether you're on Android or iOS, Apple or Samsung or whatever. I think it's the same. Click on that, 3 little lines, bottom right, and then it will come up with see your time, manage your time, and there you can set a daily limit. Fantastic. And this is really good tip because again, we get carried away. We're on our phone. I know I do. On our phone, go on there to do a business post, to respond to some messages. And all of a sudden, oh, Sarah's just been on holiday. I'll see what she's been posting. Well, probably not been on holiday recently. Maybe she's been camping in England because she can't go camping in Wales at the moment. But yeah, but you get my meaning. You get distracted by what friends and family are doing. And before you know it, it's an hour later, you've still not done that post. And now you've got a meeting. So again, a really good way is just limiting that time on Facebook. Okay, so you set that on your phone and you can set a little daily limit for there. And it'll pop up with a reminder when you're reaching your daily limit. So if your daily limit's an hour, a little notification will pop up when you're nearly reaching the end of the hour to say, come on, get a move on, focus, do what you're supposed to be doing. So that's good. Okay, right then. So my fifth one is edit. I've got 6 for you today. I lied. I haven't got 5. I've got 6. There's an extra bonus one. Okay, so my 5th top tip is edit what shows up in your newsfeed. Okay. So we've talked a little bit about at the beginning of this stream about how you can clean up your newsfeed, but there is another way of doing it, which is more easy to do. So you can unfollow people to clean up your newsfeed, but you can actually go into your newsfeed and be a little bit more specific as well. So if you go onto the home, so if you're on Facebook on the PC and you've got that little home button at the top, click onto that home button and you'll come up with a big menu along the left hand side, and in that menu it'll have a little one of them is newsfeed. So you can click onto that newsfeed and in there you can edit your preferences, and this is going to show you and help you manage what shows up in your newsfeed to save you time. So I find it again just a really quick way of going in and seeing what groups that we're following and things like that, because you can then go in and quickly unfollow them. But basically you can decide what you want to see in your newsfeed. So again, I would suggest popping into there and managing your newsfeed to see what you want for that one. Okay, right. So my final question before I come on to Paul's question about deleting your Facebook profile. Again, if you've got any more questions on Facebook, do put them in the chat. Okay, so my last one again, and this is a brilliant one that I love, is managing your notifications. So if you are using Facebook an awful lot, the little bell at the top, the little bell at the top will show. I've got a question from Phil. Will show. Look, I'll come on to that in a minute, Phil. The little bell at the top will show you how many, who's commented, who's liked whose post, who's done what, who's tagged you, whose birthday it is, what groups have commented. there's loads of stuff, as we know. And if you're busy on Facebook, you can lose a lot of useful information, particularly if you're managing a very busy Facebook page. You can quite often miss those really important notifications that relate to your page because you get so many notifications it scrolls down. So a really good way of setting up your notifications is managing your notifications. Okay, so you decide what notifications you want to get. Okay, a really good one. So again, we are going into, for this, you're going into your settings. So clicking it's a little drop down arrow, clicking through to that, click on settings. So it's an upside down little grey triangle. Click on settings, and in there is notifications. Okay. So for example, you can remove, if it's people's birthdays, you can remove that notification popping into your notifications. Any activity on groups, tags, comments, whatever, you can decide, and you can just go through and click through them individually to say, no, I don't want a notification on this. I don't want a notification on this. I don't want a notification on this. And again, this relates to your personal newsfeed, and you can do it for your business newsfeed as well. So a really useful way of just cleaning up those notifications. Okay. So those are my top tips really for managing your time much more effectively on Facebook. And it just really helps with your social media marketing because you are more streamlined, you're seeing content you want to see, and you're not getting lost in the world of Facebook, as we quite often do. So Phil, you said you couldn't see that. I think, were you talking about the edit what shows in your news feed? Okay, so you go to home. If you're on the computer, you go to your home, click on home. On the left hand side, there's a long menu. Okay, and down that menu, a few down, is news feed. Okay, and then you can go into edit preferences. So hopefully you can see that now. Okay, right then. So before we move on to, oh yes, good, you've seen it, good. Before we move on to how to delete your Facebook profile, those are the top tips of how to clean up your time on Facebook. Now, I'm hoping you didn't know about a lot of those. So hopefully, because there's so many settings on Facebook that people don't know about. So hopefully that has helped you today. Now then, so if you want to delete your Facebook profile, again, you go onto the PC, click on settings, top right, there'll be a little upside down triangle. And if you scroll down there should be an option to delete your Facebook profile. Now, remember, if you are going to delete your Facebook profile, you can't have a business page. You can't manage a business page. So you do just need one Facebook profile if you want to have a business page. However, if you have made the mistake of creating multiple profiles, which is completely against Facebook's terms and conditions, then exactly that, like you suggest, Paul, that's how you delete your Facebook profile, the ones that are not the real ones. If you do have two Facebook profiles, please do get rid of the other one. Otherwise, you risk your business page being closed down. You risk being locked out of everything. It is completely against Facebook's terms and conditions. So please do not have duplicate personal profiles. But today I've shown you how to make sure you know your personal profiles are private so that you don't actually have to worry about your profile being visible to everybody. Okay, so those are my top tips. Again, if you have got any questions, just post them in the comments. If you are watching this after the live, please just type them in the comments in below and I'll come back to any questions afterwards. I hope you found that it's useful. Next week, I am going to be talking about, does video length matter? How long should our videos be on social media? And I'm going to be talking about what length your video should be to get you the maximum reach on each social media platform. So do look out for that next week. And again, if you've got any questions in the meantime, please do type them in the Facebook group if you're watching from my Facebook group, or visit my social media page, Social Media Executive, and post them on the page there. I'm happy to answer any questions. I hope you all have a lovely week, guys. And if you're watching on YouTube, please do give this video a like and make sure you subscribe for regular hints and tips on social media. And I'll see you next week. Thanks for watching, guys. Bye.